What's going on, guys? Hope you had a great day. This is probably the 4th time that I'm recording, 5th time, not sure, not counting, but I've recorded a lot of videos today. As you can tell by my surroundings, I am stuck in traffic. I'm gonna put the rear sunshade down so you can see how bad it is behind me. This is Miami traffic for you, and this lady just cut me off. No wonder her front bumper is ripped off. But anywho, today's topic, or this evening's topic, because today we've had multiple topics, is about Toys R Us. So I saw on LinkedIn today that Toys R Us is officially rebranding and re-emerging in select markets under the new brand TRU Kids, which I found it kind of funny because, you know, TRU, Toys R Us, same acronym, same initials and a new name. But I'm really happy to hear that. Funny enough, I knew that something had been happening because over the last couple of months, I've been getting searched on LinkedIn by employees of Toys R Us. And the reason behind that is because I did write an article on LinkedIn about my opinion why Toys R Us went out of business. So it has a lot to do with why a lot of large companies, for that matter, large department stores, let's call it, are going out of business. And it's my, let's say my baby. I call it corporate obesity. So before any of you assholes say that I'm obese, I just did a video about that earlier. Go check it out. You'll figure out why I'm overweight. But anyways, corporate obesity, I'm talking about like super morbid obese, like 600, 700, 800 pounds obese. And yes, these are massive conglomerate companies that at some points do very, very, very well. And even in the early stages of this massiveness, they could still move around. But as time goes on, it's harder and harder for these companies to be able to move and to make decisions on the flick, you know, on the fly, let's call it. There's way too much bureaucracy. You know, there's way too many, I guess, appended bodies in place. You know, the C-level executives are always kind of playing ping pong back and forth with the decisions, and nothing gets executed in a timely fashion. So what happens is that often they rest on their laurels, and these young entrepreneurial spirited DNA startups come up and take them to the cleaners. And it's unfortunate because you would think, you know, if you're first to market, you should dominate that market as long as you can. I was going to say something else, but let's say that as long as you can, because it's effectively what's happened. But there's been a lot of proof in the last couple of years, right? Let's say in the last 10 to 15 years, that when something new comes on, allocate a budget for it and try it, because you can dramatically miss out on some of the largest opportunities, bar none. So what do I mean by that? Take, you know, perfect example is when the internet came out and Toys R Us did not fully adopt it. I don't know specifically the information behind it because, quite frankly, I was not there. However, from what I've kind of read here and there, I think they first outsourced their e-commerce to Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. So like fulfillment by Amazon. And that's just one thing that you should definitely have that in-house, because it's not, at least right now, there's nothing very efficient and effective or user-friendly enough to do your e-commerce outsourced, aside from Amazon. So that's the elephant in the room. And I said right now. The reason I say right now is because I'm not going to give any details. However, I may have something up my sleeve when it comes to a solution for that. But anywho, to not deviate from the subject, Toys R Us is a household name by far, and it was a, I guess, blow to the heart when, as a 31-year-old who grew up longing to go to Toys R Us once every 6 months, because financially my parents couldn't afford to take us regularly. So it was, either on my brother's birthday or my birthday or vice versa, or if my dad would get a bonus or my mom or whatever, and we would go and get to pick one toy. Or, if I had saved up money from selling candies at school, I would go to Toys R Us. But it wasn't a regular thing, but it was definitely a staple in my childhood. And it should be, children are losing touch with their childhood. Kids, I see kids growing up at an alarming rate. They're trying, and it's also their parents, and I'm talking about people my age in their late 20s, early 30s, even maybe a little bit more. Your kids aren't chess pieces, but that's a completely different video. I'm not even going to get into that. But Toys R Us definitely needs to make a comeback, in my opinion. And I'm not going to take credit for something that I didn't originally mention, but I'll build upon it. Gary Vaynerchuk mentioned it, which is that Toys R Us would have made a killing had they had events at their place for free, at their stores for free, which showcased the toys. So he very loosely explained that, but I'll go into much more detail. So let's face it, we do not need these massive 10 to 30,000 square foot facilities. You don't need it. If you do have it, turn the bigger portion of that into something eventful. There's no reason why Discovery Zone, which is let's call it like an indoor playground for kids, or even down here in South Florida, we have Chuck E. Cheese's or Dandy Bear. There's no reason that Toys R Us did not create that themselves. Or even Legoland. Toys R Us should have had educational events for free at their stores, in which basically children could come with their parents, have an awesome afternoon playing, and then become, I'm sorry to say this, but become addicted to the fact that they were able to play with such X and X toys, or XYZ toys, or whatever. So it's kind of like, it's a catch-22, but a positive one. They're building community, and on top of building community, they're building desire for what they have. So I would love an opportunity to consult on different, strategies that can be, pretty much rolled out. And this video might fall upon the right ears, or it might not, or it might get taken and used without my permission. And I'm fine with that. But it'd be nice to be part of a team that kind of revives that brand, the legacy of what Toys R Us is. And as a father of a 2.5-year-old, it sucks that I don't have that kids haven, so to speak, that I had growing up. You could go there and find anything from video games to model cars to now, as a father now, finding clothing for my kid. There's private places that do it, but let's face it, that was the spot. And this isn't roasting Toys R Us. I mean, how many other businesses have gone out? How many other companies have gone out? A bunch. But one of the things that I would do differently is logistically, right? lean out your stores. Don't put so much inventory in your stores unless you're having a special release, right? And this even goes for like Best Buy. That's another one that's any second now. I'm talking about it. Trim the stores down to, let's say, 5 to 12,000 square feet at most, and have a very slim inventory. Use some BI, some business intelligence that actually manages your purchasing and your selling. Monitor that stuff. If you see that something has a shelf life greater than a week, move it to a distribution center, liquidate it, put it on Amazon, whatever it is. Have as many avenues as possible. Have a network built with all your locations that basically you can use for drop shipping purposes. You'll have an easy time developing an e-commerce network amongst all the different stores. The thing is, I don't even know not logistically, but legally, what the status is of the stores that were around. I don't know if you guys liquidated the stores. I don't know if you even owned them, if it was just rented, because I have seen some of them getting rented to like Spirits Halloween stores and things like that. But anyways, think about a diverse web around the world, countries, etc., because I'm sure there's thousands, tens of thousands of stores throughout the world for Toys R Us. I don't know the exact number, but if you were to be able to create a internal system of which constantly had your inventory available, and it could automatically just ship straight from those places, your shipping zones for shipping are going to be very, very, very quick and very affordable, because you're going to be shipping zones 1 and 2 to mostly everything. But given the fact that this is kind of like open format, I'm not trying to pitch anything. I'm just talking about the subject, and I'm pretty sure some of the people listening might find interest in that, because this isn't necessarily just for Toys R Us. This could apply to any business that has multiple locations. But to wrap up, right? I was actually pretty excited to see that Toys R Us is attempting to make a comeback, so to speak, and I can't wait to see what else they hold in their future. So if you guys like this video, please make sure to subscribe, like it, leave a comment of what you did or did not like. If you have any questions, or you have any specific subject that was covered in this video and you want me to expand upon it, let me know. I'll be happy to make a follow-up video. And if you are a Toys R Us employee, I hope you decide to somehow contract me. It would be very, very fun to work on that project at a consultant basis, and let's see what happens. Take care, guys. Have a beautiful night.